Our last fruit of the Spirit under self-control, and self-control is our final fruit, is wisdom. Wisdom. I hope you picked up one of these. It looks like this. On the back are all the words that we've done, listed under their categories of the fruit. Love, for example, is highlighted or bold, emboldened. And then under love, we had forgiveness, loyalty, compassion, deference, and attentiveness. And you'll have that little reference. If you put it in, that's why I made it this size, put it in with your papers. If you come to a day where you say, I really need more about patience right now, or one of the 6 days, and then you pull that out and go, I want to read about patience. Ooh, I need endurance. Let me see. Let me go review that. This will be a little reference for that. And again, if there's any of those you want that you're missing, I will have by the end of this week, I'll post these last 2 videos and they'll all be there. So you can go and watch and use the handouts if you missed something you'd like to catch up on, or if you just need to review. These are the extras. They are not organized because after today, I'm throwing them away. I do have them all digitally. I should back up soon. Okay. Wisdom versus ignorance. Wisdom versus ignorance. I didn't first like the word ignorance because I thought it meant a lack of knowledge, and it does, but it's also a lack of ability to use knowledge. Have you ever had someone you think they don't, that it's common sense. How could they not know that? They don't have a wisdom. Wisdom applies both to having the information and being able to apply it. Don't you think? Yes, Suzanne.
Peace in knowledge. Stop.
That's a good one. Have you heard it somewhere? Did you make it up? Wow. We have so much knowledge. Our world right now, this era is an era of knowledge. We're in a time of knowledge. With the internet and our phone, I heard someone say once, I don't need to go to school. It was a high school student. So of course they knew everything already. But they said, I don't need to go to school. The lady in here, she knows everything. And that is not wisdom. So let's look at it. It's not, the opposite word is ignorance. And here's our definition. Seeing and responding to life situations from God's frame of reference. Seeing and responding to life situations from God's frame of reference. That's what we need to be doing. That's what wisdom is. And it starts with the fear of the Lord. Proverbs 9:10, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the Holy One is insight. It's sad because people who are trying to be so smart, so wise, they think if they don't start with the fear of the Lord, if they don't have the fear of the Lord, according to Scripture, they don't even have the beginning of wisdom. There are many people in our world today, most people, they don't know the Lord, and they're walking around thinking they're wise, and they're fools. One of the things that set Charlie Kirk apart, that people would not recognize because they didn't know the Lord, is he knew the Lord. And he had an insight. And he was amazing. I just read an article this morning about one of the things he was known for is actually listening. In fact, when he did debates, he would let them answer a question or comment they made, and you can see it if you watch the last videos of him, but on all of it. He doesn't hold it even. He puts it all the way down. That's how he did it. So I'm not going to interrupt you because I don't have a mic. And he would listen, and that would be, even those who didn't agree with him, they said, he listens. I believe that's part of God's wisdom that God gave Charlie Kirk so that he could be a different voice, a listener too, and to show value. He didn't just, well, you're just stupid. That was not the way he does it. Even professional commentators, sometimes they are so belittling to the person they're talking to. And you start disrespect. You don't respect. I don't want to hear you, because that isn't how to talk to people that agreed to talk to you. You just belittle them. And that is the way of the world. But wisdom does not go that way. Yes.
Who was talking, he's much older than Charlie. And he said that when we first met Charlie, he was in his teens. And even then, he showed such a nod and a wisdom that was so beyond him that he was so impressed. And he struggled taking them seriously because it was like his age, but yeah, it's such a testimony.
He started Turning Point when he was at 18 years old. God used him mightily in this short time. So I believe we are seeing what God is going to do, see the real effects of his life. I can't have a whole discussion, but go ahead.
No, you can already see, I mean, hugely the effect of his death, positive.
Yeah.
Going on this world, so.
Oh, I believe the result is going to be positive, but that doesn't mean there's not going to be fight. The enemy is not happy. Not because he didn't want him dead, but because he doesn't like the response. He wanted him destroyed. But we need to keep praying for that whole situation. So that's our definition and our verse. Let's go on. First off, in a nutshell, what is wisdom? Knowledge of what is true and right, coupled with judgment as to action. That's my own definition. This is an official one, seeing and responding, but we need to know what is right, what is true, but we have to add to it judgment as to applying it or action. And that's what Suzanne said. The world is obese with knowledge, but starving for wisdom. Yeah, it's a good statement. There are two kinds of wisdom then that the Bible talks about in James 5:13-16. That's our key verse for this page. Let me read that for you. Who is wise and understanding among you? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. Meekness of wisdom. We find arrogance of people who think they're wise. Meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, demonic. For where jealousy and selfish ambition exist, there will be disorder and every vile practice. But the wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, impartial and sincere. So this first wisdom is the wisdom from above. Wisdom from above. Now, the words in the Bible are pure, peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy, full of good fruits, impartial and sincere. If you look at your card, you see a capitalized word in parentheses. And the reason is that's our word. One of the words we've done in this study fits each of those, at least one. Obviously, peace, peaceable. Pure, we used the word sincerity. Gentle, gentleness is a fruit of the Spirit. Open to reason. Go look up teachable. That's part of, I believe, meekness or gentleness. Full of mercy, forgiveness. That's under love. Full of good fruits. That's all of the fruit of the Spirit. Impartial, fairness. We talked about fairness. And sincere, again, sincerity. So the wisdom from above is expressed through the fruit of the Spirit too. And that's part of how we be wise. How we can be wise is by letting the fruit of the Spirit grow in our lives. The wisdom is not from above. Wisdom not from above is 3 words: earthly, unspiritual, demonic.
Wisdom.
That's interesting because earthly means it's of this world. It's fleshly. Unspiritual. That's why they have so much trouble with people who have a spiritual life because their wisdom is unspiritual. They act like you could have no spiritual existence. They think that's just religion. I think it's hilarious in a way, but kind of ironic that they say, don't you let your faith affect your belief, your political persuasion. You're like, so do you. No, I don't. I don't have any faith. The lack of faith, believing there's no God and thinking you are the only one you answer to, is guiding your politics too. Everything, all politics are guided by what we believe. And if we let our faith out, not keep it out of our politics, we're not living like they are, because they are letting their faith or their belief system affect their politics. Ours better affect our politics. Otherwise, what's driving our beliefs? Our beliefs drive what we have passion for, what we have. In fact, next week, I hope to do a standalone lesson, a little bit reminder of how do we change? Where do our emotions come from? Where do our actions come from? That's what we need to change. Not them, but the source. We're going to just take a week and remind us of that. But the world doesn't have that. They're trying to just say, keep your faith out of your politics. Keep your faith out of the rest of our lives. Can't be done. And that's why they hate us, because they think that's what we're guiding us. They're saying yours is guiding you. By the way, we shouldn't really be shocked that the world hates believers. We are, but we shouldn't be, because Jesus said they would. He warned us. He said the world will hate you because it hates me and you're my followers. And then the world hates us. We go, why do they hate us? Susie.
Your quote, your 5:13 through 16, it's actually James 3. 13.
It's 3:13 through 16?
Yes, it's
Okay,
not
please
5.
fix that.
Where is
Did you look it up?
Yes.
Then I'll trust you. On my card, it says 3.
Well, ours says
On
5.
the card, it says 3, which is correct.
Oh,
On
so-
the hand.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the handout it says.
On the verse list,
Yeah, it says 5.
that one you can fix, yeah.
that's a 3.
So the card is right, the verse list is wrong. All right.
I didn't understand the
So here is some facts about wisdom mostly from Proverbs and other places. So I'm going to read through them pretty quickly. I'm trying to do it without being interrupted just because of time, people, okay? Not that you don't have great things to say. Join a Bible study interactive group. You just said yours is closed. The Mesa girls have a group. Who are the Mesa girls? Otta Shelley, Maggie, Belen. They are having a group for any age women to do verse mapping, which is an interactive Bible study of a different kind. And they're doing 4 of those. So if you just wanted a Bible study extra and you didn't get in mind, there's that one too. Okay. Wisdom is to be valued and desired. We are supposed to value wisdom, even if the world doesn't seem to, they just want knowledge. We're to value wisdom, and we are to not only value it, but desire it. We should desire to get wisdom. Proverbs 3:35, the wise will inherit honor, but fools get disgrace. Which one do I want? Disgrace or honor? Kind of obvious. Proverbs 4:7, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. And whatever you get insight. In all you're getting, get wisdom. Proverbs 8:10-12, take my instruction instead of silver. Wow. And knowledge rather than choice gold. For wisdom is better than jewels, and all that you may desire cannot compare with her. Proverbs 16:16, how much better to get wisdom than gold. To get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. We are to honor, we are to value wisdom and desire wisdom. The next line, wisdom is not inherited, but learned. Wisdom is not inherited, but learned. His mother was wise, so he's wise. That's proven many times. Proverbs 4:11, I have taught you the way of wisdom. I have led you in the paths of uprightness. Notice the taught and led. Give instruction, Proverbs 9:9. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be still wiser. Teach a righteous man, and he will increase in learning. Don't say, I'm already wise. Just says, if you're wise, you know you can be taught more. If you think you've got all the wisdom you need, then you don't, because you're not being wise. Proverbs 12:15, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. This is part of also gentleness and meekness, to be able to be teachable, to listen to advice. Have you ever had someone who hears your advice but doesn't listen?
Mhm.
It's frustrating, isn't it? And I think we don't want to be that person. Even like trying to tell a 18-year-old something, right? I've heard they should go in business for themselves when they're 18, while they're young and know everything.
No.
Because as they get older, they find out they don't know everything. Proverbs 13:20. Whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. You want to learn to be wise, hang around wise people. You want to learn to feel young, hang around old people. It's another advice I have. You know, my friend Donna, she hangs around, the rest of us are 10 years older than 10 years older than her, and she's always the youngest. I go, you feel young? Yeah, because I hang around you guys, and you're all old. So for most of us, that means the only one we can hang out with for that is mom. Proverbs 19:20, listen to advice and accept instruction that you may gain wisdom in the future. All of these are how we learn. It's by listening. It's by wanting more wisdom, and it's by walking with the wise. Let us walk with the wise. Wisdom is the source of strength and hope. Hope lives here because God's wisdom is here. The Bible is God's wisdom. Proverbs 24:5, a wise man is full of strength, and a man of knowledge enhances his might. You wouldn't have thought of wisdom and knowledge as being strength and might, but they are. In verse 14, know that wisdom is such to your soul, if you find it, there will be a future, and your hope will not be cut off. Wisdom gives us hope. Wisdom is shown by self-control. Wisdom is shown by self-control. One of the ways we demonstrate our wisdom is in how we let self-control guide our lives. Proverbs 12:18. There is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing.
What was
That was Proverbs 12:18. Shown.
strength?
Wisdom is shown by self-control. Right after the source of strength and hope. Proverbs 14:16, one who is wise is cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool is reckless and careless. We saw the word reckless when we were talking about discretion. Wisdom, these are all under self-control, because self-control shows we're having wisdom. We can have discretion. We can have balance in our lives. Proverbs 15:2. The tongue of the wise commends knowledge, but the mouths of fools pour out folly. Folly is foolishness, by the way. We don't use the word much. This says we should commend knowledge. We should be glad people have knowledge because we're wise, but we need to encourage them to learn to apply it in their lives. Proverbs 29:11, a fool gives vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds it back. I think that's one of the things we were talking about Charlie Kirk, is he had an opinion of what they were saying. He knew they were wrong. He knew they were way off, but he would withhold himself. He would not rashly come at them. And then that's part of why his answers seemed wiser. They seemed thought out. Well, what do you know? While he was listening, he was thinking it out. We ought to try it. Wisdom is learned from four small, wise creatures. Small, but wise creatures. This is in Proverbs 30, 24 to 28. 4 things on earth are small, but they are exceedingly wise. That statement means, okay, I want to know, what are these small creatures that are exceedingly wise? The ants. Now, they left the you out. I know the ants are wise. I'm an ant. But these are the actual other ants. Do you see that commercial where they say, we love our house, but there's a problem with ants? And it's their ants that come in. The ants are people not strong, yet they provide their food in the summer. The rock badgers are a people not mighty, yet they make their homes in the cliffs. The locusts have no king, yet all of them march in rank. The lizard you can take in your hands, yet it is in kings' palaces. So let's look at these 4 animals briefly. The ant. Ants reminds us of work for the night is coming, of being wise in the use of our time. Because John 9:4, Jesus says, we must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can work. Even this find hope here. We got to realize the world is going further away from God. We've got to stop it. And we need to be working and not saying we got plenty of time. We got plenty of time. The ant prepares for winter, and we're being told that's exceedingly wise. The rock badger is an animal that is not mighty, but it still lives in cliffs. It's protected. It lives with the protection of the cliff. 2 Corinthians 12:9. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Like the rock badger, even if we feel weak, we get our strength in the Lord. I've told you before, when I was in Indonesia, after our group would get together, we would tell each other as we were leaving, be weak. Be weak. Don't try to do this in your own strength. Be weak so you rely on the Lord. That's what we need to do. Maybe a rock badger remind somebody of that. I don't know if I've ever seen a rock badger, but then I'm not up on a lot of cliffs. Locust, I don't want to see them. The locust, he says, is a people, have no king, yet they march in rank, and they do. The locust can remind us of the power of unity, of working together like God's church. Ecclesiastes 4:12, and though a man might prevail against one who is alone, 2 will withstand him. A threefold cord is not easily or quickly broken. We are to rely on one another. God did not intend for us to live for him by ourselves. He intended for us to be in a church. He intended for us to have the strength of each other and be encouraged in our walk, so that we walk together to do God's work. And finally, the lizard. The lizard can take in your hands, yet it gets to go into royal places, even though it's a small thing. They're all over in Indonesia. They're not called lizards in Indonesia. They're called cicak. Cicak. But cicaks eat gigits, which are mosquitoes. And so nobody kills the cicaks. So they're all over the walls. Mosquito repellent. But in this case, they teach us that even though they're very insignificant, they dwell with the king. And don't we? We get to walk in the presence every day of the King of all kings, and we're as insignificant as lizards. What is man, Psalm 8:4, that you are mindful of him, and the Son of Man, that you care for him? We are insignificant, but we walk with the King. And the last thing we say on this statement here is, God generously gives wisdom when we ask. God generously gives wisdom when we ask. James 1:5. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. Such good things about wisdom. We might be sitting here going, where do I get it? Where do I get it? We ask for it. And then God shows it and builds it in our lives. I don't think he just imparts it like open your brain, throw in wisdom. That would be cool. We'd love that. But what he does, he says, you asked for wisdom, so I'm giving you opportunity to increase in wisdom by giving you opportunity to follow me and to use your knowledge wisely. And so then you will be wise. So that concludes our study of the fruit of the Spirit. I hope you've been blessed. And I look forward to our next week. I'll introduce the upcoming series and have a little standalone lesson. All right, let's pray. Lord, I thank you for wisdom. I thank you that you are not holding it back from us, even though you have all the wisdom of the world. You share it generously. Help us to grow in wisdom, Lord, and make a difference in our world as we do. Thank you for all the fruit of the Spirit you're growing in our lives. Help us to recognize it and let it grow more. In Jesus' name, amen.
Jerry.